Hey, good afternoon, America. Greetings, friends, and welcome to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I am Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today. It's great to have you with us. We'll be taking your phone calls here at the bottom of the hour, as we always do. If you have questions about medications or supplements or the longevity products, or if you just have a comment or you want to share a success story, we'd love to hear from you. Our number today and every day on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program is 831-685-1080. That's your priority line number, 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552, 888-379-2552, toll free. My name is Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. I'm a nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements in my practice. Don't like drugs. Never like drugs, never will like drugs. The human body has no need for prescription drugs, and in any case, there is no such thing as a prescription drug deficiency disease. At the core of all nutritional deficiencies, or at the core of all diseases, you will find nutritional deficiencies of all kinds. This morning, there was an article on CNN.com describing the link between stress and infertility. Nutritional deficiencies are, of course, a major stress on the body. There's so many people these days trying to get pregnant, but infertility seems to be an epidemic, according to WebMD. Over 7 million people are affected by infertility. 10% of American couples are infertile. And the most important reason for this epidemic, as I've been saying for years, and as the CNN article this morning corroborates, is stress. What we mean by stress, at least in terms of the health of the body, is some kind of activation of the body's survival nervous system. When the body perceives it's being threatened, either from nutritional deficiencies, from lack of key nutrients, from dietary problems, or from a real kind of live stressor like a lion or a tiger jumping out of the bushes, when the body thinks its life is at stake in any way, it's going to activate something called the survival nervous system. The survival nervous system is technically called the sympathetic nervous system, and that basically suppresses all of the non-survival functions, things that aren't necessary for the survival of the body, things that aren't necessary for the immediate survival, biochemical reactions that don't have an immediate survival application, stuff we can do without in the very short run. And making a baby is something that the body doesn't need to be expending its precious resources on when it perceives that its life is at stake. Our nervous system is divided into two sections, two subsystems. The survival system is sometimes called the fight or flight system. More technically, it's called the sympathetic nervous system. Its partner is sometimes called the rest and digest nervous system. It's technically known as the parasympathetic nervous system. Here's the important point. Here's the take-home message. The more time we spend in rest and digest mode, the longer we're going to be alive, the longer we will be healthy. Everything we love about being alive is regulated by the rest and digest nervous system. Everything we hate about being alive, the stress, the survival, the angst, the anxiety, the depression, all of that is related to the fight or flight nervous system. The less time we spend in fight or flight, the longer we'll be alive, the longer we'll be healthy, the longer we will have joie de vivre, joy for life. Sure, this fight or flight nervous system is important. Nobody's denying that. The fight or flight nervous system is going to keep us alive in the short run, but the longer it's active, the more chronically it's activated, the shorter our lives will ultimately be. Most of the signs, most of the symptoms of the aging process and the breakdown process and the degenerative disease process are indicators that our survival system has been chronically activated. They're signs that our body is laboring under what it perceives to be a life-threatening situation for months, for years, for decades. That's a long time for any living system to be dealing with a life-threatening or a perceived life-threatening situation. Elevated blood pressure is a classic sign of a fight or flight system activation. So is thick clotting blood. So is osteoporosis. So is heart disease. So is cancer. These are all indicators that the sympathetic emergency system has been chronically activated. Fight or flight, sympathetic activation is also going to slow down growth. It'll slow down repair. It'll slow down nutrient absorption, which will cause more stress, thereby leading into this downward vicious spiral. And as we mentioned earlier, infertility is a classic sign of an activated stress nervous system. So is constipation, which afflicts so many people. So is PMS. And for women dealing with menopause, hot flashes, night sweats, anxiety, jitteriness, insomnia, these are all signs of an activated survival or stress nervous system. It comes no surprise that we spend a lot of time in this fight or flight mode. And this is really, really important. So what do? Well, one of the things that we can do to help activate the relaxation nervous system is to focus on our breathing. The inhalation portion of our breathing, the oxygenation portion of our breathing, actually is related to the sympathetic nervous system, but when we exhale, the exhalation process, the blowing off process, that is related to relaxation. In fact, this exhalation process is the classic way, and it's the best way to activate the rest and relaxation nervous system. Taking shorter inhalations and long exhalations is a great way to turn on the parasympathetic or the relaxation nervous system. To breathe properly, you want to allow air to come into the lungs through the nose, and as you let air come in through the nose, you want to expand your belly. The muscles associated with this belly expansion, as well as the air contacting the nerve. The nose, just air coming into the nerves in the nose as you're inhaling and exhaling can activate that relaxation response. This can help you fall asleep. It can help you lower your blood pressure. If you have a blood pressure cuff, you can actually observe this effect. Take your blood pressure, take a baseline blood pressure, and then do some deep breathing, focusing on the exhalation process. And you'll notice that when you take your blood pressure again after a minute or two of deep breathing, that your blood pressure has dropped. Sometimes very significantly, without drugs, without doctors, without pharmacy, without insurance, without Obamacare. If you're constipated, you can do the same thing. If you feel like you're constipated, focus on the exhalation. Short inhalations, long exhalations. You'll feel the lower part of your body just open up and relax. These are some of the wonderful, easy strategies that you can do to keep yourself healthy. Of course, nutritional supplementation is also important. The essential nutrients, the Mighty 90. That's why using the Longevity Mighty 90 products can be, along with deep, slow breathing, the most important anti-aging strategy you could ever use. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm sitting in for Doc Wallach today. We'll be taking your phone calls here in a little bit at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. We'll take a time out and come back with more good health information right after this. Don't go away. I'll be sitting in for the next 45 minutes with my good friend and colleague, Douglas Winfrey. Greetings, Doug. Good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you, too. I saw this story from Fox News and thought immediately of you. The headline reads, Healing Allergies All Naturally. And it's about a Dr. Susanne Bennett. She's a natural allergy specialist, and she's written a book called The 7-Day Allergy Makeover. And she says the key to treating allergies is uncovering the root cause. And allergies can stop the symptoms from recurring. She says medications only minimize the symptoms. It does not get to the root cause. And they said to create an allergy-free lifestyle, she has 7 different things. One of them is nutrition. She says restore your health from the inside out, eliminating allergic foods and beverages from your diet. She says, I believe that what you eat has a big impact on the rest of your body because our immune system and our gut can be inflamed from the foods we eat.
How impressive.
It just sounded like you talking. Said many people are sensitive to dairy, gluten, sugar, fungal foods, alcohol, peanuts, and eggs. Water says more water we drink, the better chance we have of breaking down and flushing harmful allergens and toxins from our bodies. Says some studies have shown that drinking water in the U.S. contains thousands of chemicals and contaminants, even though the EPA says it monitors the levels of contaminants in our water. And number 3 is the air. They say that to clean up your air, she says, block out what you can by shutting doors and windows on windy and foggy days. And invest in a proper air filter for your home, and don't add anything that can make allergies worse, like plastics and synthetics. Living environment, keeping your home as clean as possible will help remove airborne allergens in the kitchen. They say also affect your allergies. Scratched and heated nonstick pots and pans can release harmful chemicals. And number 6 is the body. It says taking good care of your skin helps strengthen your immunity because your body is not struggling with rashes, dirt, or bacteria. And number 7 is emotional health. A stressed and worn-down body has a more difficult time dealing with allergens. So there you go.
There's the stress there. So what happened to a Nasonex deficiency?
They didn't mention that at all.
They didn't mention, and you need more Nasonex
or a Claritin deficiency.
Or Benadryl.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of interesting, Doug, because it seems to me, I've been talking about, as you know, about the digestive connection to everything, really, but especially to allergies and immune problems. And I always wonder, why is that such a hard sell? It is really a hard sell. People seem to think that that's kind of crazy talk, or Boulder, Colorado, new age hippie talk, or just kind of alternative, fanatic, wild-eyed, health nut kind of talk. It turns out that your immune system and your digestive system are essentially synonymous. They're essentially the same system. That means largely your immune system is certainly spread out throughout your body, but 80% or more of the immune system is concentrated in the digestive system. And the main reason for this is so interesting, Doug. Do you know your digestive system is in a way completely separated from your body? It's like a tube in the inside of your body. And there's little openings that get into the body, obviously. Your nutrition's got to get into the body, but for the most part, it's a segregated system. And in order for things to get through from the tube, the digestive tube, into the rest of the body, they have to be screened, if you will, almost like a bouncer in a bar. Anyway, a bouncer checks your ID and will let you in or won't let you in, depending on whether he thinks you're a problem or whether your ID is correct. You actually have cells that line your digestive system that act in the same fashion. They screen foods. They determine whether foods or whether nutritional items or particles in the food, whether they can be admitted into the body proper. And those cells that act as bouncers that line the digestive tract and determine whether foods or particles of foods are going to get into the body, those cells are called the immune system cells. And that's what the immune system does. It screens out the bad guys, keeps them in the digestive tube if they're bad enough and supposed to anyway, only let the good stuff in. However, as we become stressed and as we deal with nutritional deficiencies over the course of time, these bouncers just become pooped. They give up. It's like a bouncer that's been working for 24 straight hours, or a bouncer who's been working all night, a bouncer who's been drinking a little bit of booze while he's doing his bouncing. He sometimes forgets and he lets the wrong people in. And when that happens, the wrong stuff gets into the body, and that is what triggers an allergic response. For the life of me, I can't figure out why people find that this is such a difficult concept to kind of grasp their minds around. The immune system and the digestive system are essentially one and the same. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, or 888-379-2552 toll free. We're coming back at you with more good health information on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. So, Doug, during the break, we were talking about microbes, bugs, and I forgot to mention that about as far as allergies go and as far as digestive health goes. Nothing beats probiotics, and in my opinion, there's no probiotic supplement more effective and more powerful than the Biolumin Nightly Essence. Have you gotten to try that yet?
My big question on that is that I was always curious why I've heard you recommend that you take it before you go to bed at night.
Well, it doesn't really matter when you take it, actually. They market it as a nightly product, but it doesn't really matter. You can take it throughout the day. It's basically food. Those bacteria are found in fermented foods, and there's no particular time when you want to eat your fermented foods. You can eat them for breakfast, you can eat them for lunch, you can eat them for dinner. Likewise, a good probiotic supplement doesn't really matter. Now, some probiotic supplements you want to take on an empty stomach, some probiotics you want to take on a full stomach, but it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting them into your system, in my opinion. But what makes the Biolumin Nightly Essence so neat is the digestive enzymes that it contains. I haven't seen any probiotic supplements that have digestive enzymes in them. So you might want to take your Biolumin Nightly Essence probiotics with food. But either way, make sure you're getting fermented foods. Make sure you're getting these bacteria. They're so darn important for everything, really, for anything that goes wrong in the body. That's the first thing you want to focus on, is the health of the intestine, and especially when it comes to probiotics. There's also, I like probiotic supplements certainly, but fermented foods are really great too. Sauerkraut, miso, tempeh. Everybody likes a certain kind of fermented food. I don't know anybody that doesn't like something that's fermented.
Yeah, like beer.
Like beer, exactly. I was about to say. The guy, Louis Pasteur, the guy who developed germ theory, was actually a beer processor, and he was studying beer. That's how they discovered germs. Louis Pasteur figured there was something in the beer that was something alive in the beer that was creating the alcohol, and that's when they discovered germs, and that's where germ theory was born. So beer has kind of an interesting history, especially when it comes to health. Beer is actually kind of a healthy food. Beer is great for your hair. Did you know that, Doug?
Yes, I'd heard that before.
You may want to drink a little bit more beer. I'm just kidding, my friend. Beer has silica in it, and silica is great for your hair, but it's also great for your nails, and it's also great for your bones. You know, ever see those folks? Every city's got a alcoholic type guys drinking beer out of a paper bag. We have a street here in Denver called Larimer Street. I'm sure Santa Cruz, there's a particular street where you got these guys drinking beer out of the paper bag. Every big city has their local street like that. And you always see these folks who are drinking beer out of the paper bag. You always see them with big, great hair. Have you ever noticed that? If they're drinking a lot of beer, they tend to have a lot of hair. And one of the reasons is because beer is a great source of silica, and it's also a great source of the B vitamins. Beer is almost like a food when you think about all the nutritional value that you get from it. It's not just for having a good time. It's also almost food-like in its nutritional value. What do you think of that, Douglas?
What about these gluten-free beers? Would they still have the same properties?
The gluten-free beers are probably made with gluten-free grains, I would think. I don't think they actually...
The one that there's one called Red Bridge that's put out by Budweiser. It's made from sorghum.
Right. So it comes from gluten-free grains, but I don't think they actually take the gluten out after the beer is processed. I don't believe. So probably it would have the same nutritional value. Sorghum's got some good nutritional value. Sorghum's actually a big-time cash crop around the world, even though we don't eat a lot of it here in this country. Anyway, I think we'll come back and take your phone calls, 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Try to get on board early so we can get to as many calls as possible. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, the longevity products, or if you just want to contribute to our conversation, or if you have a success story, 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552 is your number. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey, sitting in for Dr. Wallach today. We're going to take a break and come back with more good health information on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. We'll be back right after this.
Let's head to Union City, Tennessee, and Joe, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's the good word, Joe?
Hey, yes, it's Joe. I've got my personal blood pressure like 169/97.
Joe, that's not a good thing.
No, I've only had that, though, this last 6 months. Before that, is always running 140, 145 below.
That's still high. Still high. Things are starting to degenerate, my friend. How old are you, buddy?
66.
Roughly. 66?
66.
All right, time to take some emergency measures, all right? First of all, number one thing you want to do just for quick relief of that hypertension is, as I was talking about earlier in the program, you want to start to practice slow, deep breathing. That's for an emergency reduction in blood pressure. And you want to do it all the time. You want to do it maybe every few hours or so. Sit down and spend a minute just doing slow, deep breathing, really slow. That's the key when you're doing deep breathing, is doing it slowly and making sure you're exhaling a little bit more than you're inhaling. That's step number one. Step number two, you want to make sure that you're getting your electrical nutrients. And the two most important class of electrical nutrients are the B vitamins and electrolytes. They're both electrical, and they're both found in copious, generous amounts in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So if you're not sipping on that all day long, you want to get to sipping. And you want to probably be doing a couple of scoops every day, but you want to do it in divided doses. Sometimes folks will get a little diarrhea if they do too much all at once. So you want to divide the doses, do it, sip on it, put maybe a scoop in a bottle of water, and then sip on that bottle of water all day long. And then when you run out of the water, do it again. You could do maybe 3 or 4 scoops a day. That would be great. Then there's some really cool nutrients, individual nutrients that have a blood pressure lowering effects. Probably magnesium is the one that stands out the most. And, of course, you'll find magnesium in the Osteomag from Longevity. Niacin is one of the B vitamins, vitamin B3. That's a stupendous blood pressure lowering nutritional supplement. And then a really important strategy that goes under the radar sometimes when it comes to high blood pressure and all heart issues, cardiovascular issues, is keeping your blood sugar stable. When our blood sugar goes up and the hormone insulin goes up, so does our blood pressure, and so does our weight, by the way. So reducing your intake of breads and pastas and potatoes, all the foods we love so much. And I'm not talking about going zero tolerance, but just lowering your intake of those kinds of foods and perhaps upping your caloric intake from protein. That's an easy way to wean yourself off of those kinds of foods. That can also not only allow you to lower your blood pressure, but you'll also lose some weight too. And as a bonus, you'll lower your cholesterol, all without drugs. That's 3 great benefits from one nutritional health strategy, and I think that's a good deal. Also nutrients that help you processed sugar like the sweeties from Longevity, that can also have an effect, a positive effect on your blood pressure. So lots of good ideas for you there. Beyond Tangy Tangerine, electrolytes, the B complex, make sure you're breathing correctly, and then reducing your intake of these fast-burning foods that affect blood sugar and insulin, and perhaps using your sweeties and Osteomag also. Last but not least, now that I think about it, the Ultimate EFAs can also help lower blood pressure, and that sounds to me like a good reason to get on the Healthy Start Pack, which provides you with the Mighty 90 nutrients via the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids, and your OsteoFX. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. From Tennessee, let's see if we can get one more call in before our break, Doug.
All right, let's stay right there in Tennessee and head over to Memphis. And Tariq, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Tariq?
Yes. Hello.
Hello, my friend. What's going on?
Yes, I'm suffering with arthritis and my digestive system.
Okay, well, they're connected. When the digestive system gets whacked out, as I was saying earlier, the wrong stuff gets into the body. That can cause inflammation, and that can certainly cause arthritis. And on top of that, when the digestive system gets messed up, we don't absorb nutrients, and that can also compromise the health of the joints and cause some arthritis too. So they're connected, the digestive system and the joints. Hang tight, Tariq, because I'm going to tell you just what to do when we come back. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program, and we do have a line or two open for you at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. We're going to take a break and come back with Tariq and more good health information for you right after this on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio program. All right, we're back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program, talking to Tariq in Tennessee about his arthritis and digestive system. Hello, Tariq. You there, my friend?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so step number one, and you're wise to make that link between the digestive system and the joints. There's a very important connection. Number one, let's get you on the Biolumin Nightly Essence for all digestive health issues. That's almost like a panacea. It's just good for every single digestive health issue you can name. It's a digestive panacea anyway. And so I'd be doing the Biolumin Nightly Essence, maybe 3 capsules in the morning, 3 capsules at night. Secondly, you got digestive issues. That means you're probably not going to be absorbing your nutrients as effectively, and that's why the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the OsteoFX are such good products. They're liquid nutrition, and that means they're going to bypass any kind of digestive health issues that you have, and they'll go right to work. They'll get absorbed really fast. Make sure you're using them on a regular basis, BTT, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, as well as the OsteoFX. Probably a good idea to get on the glucogel caps. That's a basic joint health remedy. And then also, it might not be a bad idea to throw in the digestive enzymes, the Ultimate Enzymes. A lot of folks don't realize this, but Ultimate Enzymes have great pain-relieving properties, but you got to take them on an empty stomach in order to take advantage of their pain relief benefits, their anti-inflammatory benefits. So take your digestive enzymes, the Ultimate Enzymes, with meals, and that'll help you absorb your nutrients, help you process your nutrients, and then make sure you're taking a couple of Ultimate Enzymes on an empty stomach as well, and that way you'll get the anti-inflammatory and the pain relief benefits of the Ultimate Enzymes. And it might not be a bad idea to throw in some Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids while you're at it. The Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids are like WD-40 for your joints, and they can also act to help you make some protein, make that joint protein. And then if you want just a nice little food strategy, one of my favorite foods for helping build strong joints and healthy joints is bone soup, where you take a chicken or a chicken carcass, if you like, and drop it into a pot of water and turn it into soup. You let it boil and then simmer down, and it forms a nice chicken soup. If you're using a whole chicken, the meat will come off the bones, and you'll get some nice protein out of the deal. And then the cartilage, as the cartilage dissolves, all that cartilage protein and cartilage protein sugar complexes will go into your digestive system and build your joints as well. I call that bone soup. It's a delicious way to help build your joints. So number one, focus on the digestive system, and number two, use the liquid nutrients, and then you might want to throw in some bone soup and, of course, your Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids. Thanks so much for your call, Tariq in Tennessee. Hope we helped you out, and let's move on to our next call. Doug.
Let's head to Salinas, California. And Esmeralda, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Esmeralda.
Hi, Pharmacist Ben. I've been diagnosed with achalasia, and I'm looking for some alternatives to the options that the doctor gave me.
What are you doing these days? What are you doing for achalasia? What are you doing for your achalasia now? By the way, achalasia is a disease of the esophagus for the listeners.
Yes.
You're not doing anything?
I changed my diet. I stopped eating gluten. I stopped eating dairy, and I'm eating all organic.
well, how did you notice when you stopped the? It's very rare, by the way. It doesn't happen very much. Did you notice that when you stopped the gluten and stopped the dairy, that you had any kind of improvement?
Some.
Okay. Did you notice some improvement, though? That's important because that tells us something. Okay, good. What that tells us is that the esophagus is kind of going into shock. When you have achalasia, the esophagus, which is supposed to relax to allow food to drop in, kind of contracts. Is that correct? That's what's happening to you? It sort of gets, it doesn't relax like it should, and the food gets stuck in the esophagus. You experience that?
Yes, and I throw up.
That's a pretty terrible feeling, isn't it?
Yes, it
is. Do you ever eat? I know what you're talking about. You got to focus on foods that are activating the body's immune system and stress response. That's the most important strategy. You're definitely on the right track. But here's the thing about gluten. You said you laid off gluten. And Doug knows this good and well. There's a lot of proteins in grains that are not gluten that you can still have a problem with, which means that you can eat a food that's gluten-free, but because it has these other molecules, these other protein complexes in them, you can still have a problem. Achalasia, to me, especially if you noticed results when you laid off the gluten and the dairy, achalasia needs to be first and foremost considered a problem of the immune system. Basically, the esophagus doesn't want to let the food go down, probably because it knows that it's a food you shouldn't be eating. I'm using my imagination on that one, but that could be one of the reasons. In any case, you want to focus on the kinds of foods you're eating. You also maybe want to focus on digestive health in general. Of course, that means the biolumin nightly essence and the ultimate enzymes. And it also means making sure that you're getting your nutrients in a liquid fashion. If you have digestive problems, Esmeralda, chances are that you're not absorbing nutrients, and that can cause even more problems. That's one of the big problems when we have digestive health issues is because the digestive health issues cause a problem with nutrient absorption, that in turn causes more health issues, more digestive issues, causes more problems with nutrient absorption, and you get this downward spiral of degeneration and disease that doesn't end until we end. It doesn't end until we meet our demise, unfortunately. So we want to break that cycle by making sure you're getting your nutrients in generous amounts and in liquid fashion, easy to absorb fashion. And that's why the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Ultimate Classic and the Rainforest products are so nice because they're liquid and they go right to work. So number one, you want to eliminate those problem foods, even if it's not gluten. It could be something else. It could be any kind of grain that contains these kinds of complexes, protein complexes that the body reacts to. And also focus on digestive health using the biolumin nightly essence and digestive enzymes and then liquid nutrients as well. And I hope we helped you. Thanks so much for your call. Esmeralda, Doug, do you know what a gluten really is, to why plants make gluten? Did I ever tell you why?
To protect themselves.
Exactly. They are the plant's way of saying, if you are ever to eat me, there will be heck to pay. You know what I'm talking about, right? And that's the way a plant prevents animals from eating them. They produce these kinds of poison compounds, and gluten is one of them. Of course, human beings, we just don't learn our lesson, and we go ahead and eat these plant compounds, and the diarrhea and the irritable bowel syndrome and the colitis and all the problems we have with our GI tract, our digestive tract, in addition to the inflammatory problems like arthritis and joint diseases, and ultimately even things like hypertension and, God forbid, even cancer can be related to digestive breakdowns that are secondary to gluten ingestion. But here's the point. Plants make lots of defensive compounds. Gluten is just one of them. Plants make all kinds of complexes, and just because a plant is gluten-free or just because a product is gluten-free doesn't mean you're not going to be reacting to it. You know, people think corn is gluten-free, and it has a lot less gluten certainly than wheat, but corn's got its own defensive, the corn plant produces its own defensive molecules that we can react to. So what you want to do is you want to see how you react to a specific food. And by seeing how you react to a specific food, you can personalize your health program instead of going with general rules of thumb, if you will. Personalize your digestive protocol, personalize your supplement protocol, personalize your health program by seeing how you react to specific foods and specific health and what your specific health challenges are. Okay, 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, 888-379-2552, toll free. Can we take one more call, Doug?
Yeah, let's head to Buffalo, New York. And Michelle, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. What's going on?
Okay, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and they put me on methotrexate and prednisone.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. For arthritis?
Yes.
How bad was your arthritis?
Well, I don't know. I was fine went to bed one night, woke up the next day and could hardly move, and I passed out. And I was
from arthritis? You passed out from the arthritis? Listen, I'm a pharmacist, and I'm not going to belabor the point that I hate prescription drugs, because everybody who's listened to me knows that. But let me tell you something. You couldn't pick two more deadly, toxic, awful prescription drugs than methotrexate and prednisone. Even one, let alone two. So here's the deal. If you have arthritis, you don't need methotrexate or prednisone. These are emergency drugs that suppress the immune system and the inflammation. So let me ask you a question, ma'am. If your doctor is giving you a drug that completely shuts down your immune system in order to make you better, what does that tell you? It tells you must have an immune problem, correct?
Right.
If he's giving you a drug that shuts down your immune system because he thinks it's going to make you better, that means that you must have an immune problem. So hang tight, because we're going to tell you how you deal with an immune problem. This is for everybody out there listening. I know there's a lot of folks listening who are probably in the same boat as you. So hang on. We'll get to you when we come back from our break. We do have a couple more minutes to talk to you. If you want to give us a call at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today. We'll take a break and come back with more good health information right after this. Don't go away. All right, we're back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey. We're talking to Michelle in Buffalo. Michelle's got a little arthritis, or a lot of arthritis, I imagine. Michelle, you there, ma'am? Michelle's on. So you're on methotrexate and prednisone, two of the more hideous drugs you could be on. And these are drugs that suppress the immune system. Methotrexate kills cells. They call it, in the pharmacy business, we say it's cytotoxic. That means it kills cells. Do they tell you not to take any folic acid when you're taking the methotrexate by any chance? That's what they usually tell people.
They gave me folic acid.
Oh, they gave you folic acid. Okay. Yeah, methotrexate affects the folic acid, affects the way the cells process folic acid. In any case, methotrexate and prednisone, two very, very, very rough drugs. But when you have an immune problem, you don't need prescription medicine. When you take a prescription drug, what you're doing is you're adding to an already burdened system. What you got to do with the body is you have to be kind and loving to the body. The body is like your baby. You know, if your baby is screaming and your baby is crying, you may feel like wrapping your baby's mouth with duct tape, but you're never going to do it, because you know that's not going to be good for your baby. In the same way, you can take a prescription drug, and that's going to suppress your body's crying, if you will, your baby body crying, but that's not going to do your body any good. What you want to do is you want to nurture your baby body. You want to sustain your baby body, and you want to remove anything that's getting into your baby body that is burdening the system, that is overloading the system, and the last thing you want to do is add to that burden by taking a prescription drug. So when a doctor gives you a drug like prednisone or methotrexate, what they're telling you is implicitly that you have an immune system problem. These are drugs that suppress the immune system, quiet down inflammation. But to me, and probably to you if you're listening to this program, doesn't it make more sense to figure out what is causing my body to cry out? What is causing the inflammation? What is causing the immune system activation? What is causing the defensive response? Why is my baby crying? This is what we have to figure out. Number one, what you'll find, if your baby's crying, it means your baby is starving. Your baby's not getting the nutrition it needs. And by baby, of course, I mean your body. So step number one, when you're on these kinds of drugs, ma'am, and you've got this kind of health condition, I'm not even going to tell you about doing things specifically. I'm going to tell you how you take care of your entire body, and that means getting on the Mighty 90 essential nutrients. If I were you, I'd be doing it today. If I were you, when I hung up the phone, Michelle, I'd be calling my longevity rep and telling them I want the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, I want the Ultimate EFAs, and I want the OsteoFX. Those are the Healthy Start Pack, and that'll get you the Mighty 90 right from the get-go, right off the bat, just to take care of your body. That's not going to be specific for the arthritis, specific for the joints, but it's going to be specific for the entire body, and you're going to notice results, and you're going to feel better. Not just your joints. You'll feel better in your joints for sure, but you're going to feel your entire body will feel better. You'll feel stronger. You'll have more energy. You'll wake up in the morning with more joie de vivre and vim and vigor, and have an ability to function throughout your day with more strength and vitality. That's using the entire Mighty 90. And then specifically, for your joints. Number 1, get on the Biolumin Nightly Essence. That's for digestive support. Number 2, get on the Ultimate Enzymes. That's a very, very functional and very powerful anti-inflammatory. And it wouldn't be a bad idea for you to throw in the glucogel caps as well, which are specific for building healthy joints. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Michelle, hope we helped you out from Buffalo, New York. Michelle from Buffalo. Let's see if we get one more call in, Doug.
Let's head to Colorado. And Betty, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Betty?
Hi. Well, I take the 90 essentials, vitamins and minerals. But about a month ago, my knee, I was walking and my knee gave out. I heard like a little crack. So I went and they took me to the emergency. No, nothing was broken. So they did an MRI. Nothing. They didn't see anything. And I'm still hurting really bad.
I understand.
So I don't know why.
Well, here's what happens. You know, when the knee slips out of place, when the ligaments and the tendons are specifically the ligaments that hold the knee in place, when they get a little loose with age, the knee sort of slips out of place, and when the knee slips out of place, it can cause some inflammation. So you may not have any permanent damage, but you probably have some inflammation in there. So you got to get on some products to help build the strength of the ligaments as well as improve the inflammatory process. I'd be throwing in the glucogel caps, and you probably wouldn't be a bad idea to start taking some of the Ultimate Enzymes on an empty stomach, and then maybe the Ultimate EFAs as well. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. And that's all the time we have for today on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. Thanks so much for joining us, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben for Doug Winfrey and Michael's Worley MZ and Dr. Wallach and all the folks at the ZBS Radio Network. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.